guys doing? This is Josie, and welcome to Planet1wp. This is my second episode, and again, it's a new thing I'm trying, so I definitely would love your feedback and just anything to make it better, and probably some questions so I can create some new content and stuff for you as well. So last week I did how to use the machine controller with Ableton and how to set it up. And this week I'll be doing it for Logic Pro X. So I know that there's quite a lot of not a few, but quite a lot of videos out there trying to describe how to integrate the Maschine MK3 with Logic. Logic Pro X, obviously, you know, it's an updated version for the templates, and Logic, as always, just updated to sort of mimic the session view of Ableton, which is actually pretty cool. But I find that it's CPU intensive, but who knows, I need to probably play around a little bit more with it. Just a heads up, Maschine is dropping a new controller, the Maschine Plus, which is standalone. So you guys should check that out if you guys are into the MK3, the machine controller like I am. But in any case, a lot of the videos that I've been watching has been basically the way that it normally would work with the Maschine and Logic, where basically you can switch between using it sort of like a host transport with the mix, mute, solo, and so forth. But the way that most people, I'm assuming, want to use it is to actually use it as a keyboard. So I can program my MIDI inside of Logic Pro, not necessarily inside of the instance or the Maschine plugin instance. So we'll cover that today. By the way, the template that I'm using today is a template that I've made myself. Also, the control assignments that are set up in Logic, I made myself as well. So you guys thank you, Miss Ozzy Williams. You're awesome as well. Thank you for tuning in and checking out my channel. So I've made some templates and control assignments templates as a free download for you guys, so you guys can use it the same way that I'm using it in this video. Just go to my website, sign on to the email list at planet1wp.com. And once I get you guys on the email list, I will send you a link for you to download the files for this. I do need the support, so yes, I am asking you to sign up to my email list because I do want to create content for you guys, and I need the support. I need to bring my numbers up. So if you guys can help me do that, that would be super awesome. And I'll promise to continue to do my best to bring different kinds of things to this channel. Again, I'm starting, so bear with me. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about how we can use it as a controller to trigger instruments. The first thing we want to do, I'm going to share my screen with you guys so you guys can see my screen. Cool. So you guys should be able to see my screen. I basically just have, you know, Ableton opened up, a new Ableton. As you guys can see, nothing is saved. And most people would use this route where they would go into control surfaces, they would go into the setup, and they would bring in the Maschine here or the Mackie control to be able to use it with Logic as your basic host controller where you can mute, solo, and so forth. I find that when you do add that and then you try to use it to trigger sounds, they conflict with each other. So in this case, it would be one or the other unless Ableton does an update or unless someone has a way to do that. And if you do, please put it in the comments and share it with me, and it'd be super awesome. Okay, so in this case, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave that section totally by itself and alone. So as I'm going along, sometimes I'm trying to figure out how I can answer questions in the chat and how to continue having topic. At some point, maybe it'll change, but for now, I have to multitask. So here we have Logic open. Let's get to it. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to create an instrument track. Okay, and I'm going to choose a software instrument. As you can see, it's set up to Maschine here, and I'm going to use the multi-timbral which means I will have 4 different MIDI channels. I'm choosing 4. You can go up to 16 MIDI channels, but I'm just going to choose 4. I'm probably just going to use 3, but this is a kind of way that you guys can speed up your process. So there I go. I have 4 tracks. I'm going to close that down, create them, And once you guys create it, you guys will see that it will open up a Maschine instance of it. The controller, let me switch my menu so you guys can actually see the controller at this point. That would be super helpful. So you guys, you'll see that now when we loaded that instrument in Logic, it opened up an instance of the Maschine, and now we are working inside of the Maschine, which is great. We need it for now, but we don't want to program in the Maschine. We want to program in Logic. The first thing that we have to do is a couple of things in Maschine. Okay. I should probably, let me see if I just get a pointer for you guys so you guys can be able to see the mouse a little bit here and not have to follow it blindly. Cool, so here we have one group, okay? So I'm going to just use the controller for this instance just to make things fast, to load up some sounds and things like that. Okay, I'm just going to go into browse right here, and the first kit I open up, it'll be a quick 909 that's loaded into group 1. I'm going to go into group B and maybe select a different pack or something. Let's go to prospect haze and use that one. Let's see what we can grab out of there. That sounds pretty interesting. Now let's go to 3 and load up another sound pack in there. Let's go to this one and see if we can find something in that we like. Let's grab that one. Relax. Cool, it's loading up, so once it loads up, we can move on. Okay, now I'm going to get out of browse. Now the next step that we have to do, unfortunately, we cannot do it with the controller. We actually have to do it in the software. So I'm going to move over to the software here and I'll show you guys. So you have to right click on the group here and you have to set the group MIDI batch setup to sounds to MIDI notes. Why? Because you want these pads to become MIDI notes as opposed to MIDI channel, just like a regular note on the keyboard. So I'm just going to do that and I'm going to do it to every one of them. Sounds to MIDI, group MIDI match, sounds to MIDI notes. Same thing on this step. Now all the pads are assigned to MIDI notes. Now the next step, we can continue to use the controller to do it, or you can do it in the software if you like. We're going to go to channel here. We're going to make sure that we're in group. So I'm going to select the group here. Okay, I'm going to choose the first group. Okay, and I'm going to go into the input by sliding this over. And now the routings here, I'm going to change to manual because I want to manually assign a MIDI channel to it. So I set to manual. In the first group, I'm going to assign to MIDI channel 1. Okay. Notice that the start node is C1. That means that this is C1. In other words, if we're on a keyboard and we're looking at a keyboard, the middle note is C3. So it's 2 octaves down from that. We're going to go to the second group here. Same deal. Go to manual. Select that to MIDI channel 2. Group number 3, manual, set that to MIDI channel 3. And now we've assigned every group a different MIDI channel. Okay. The next thing I always like to do is bring the volumes down. I don't know how loud stuff is going to be, so I kind of always want to protect my hearing first. Okay. And the overall volume could come down as well. Okay. Feel a little bit better. Now we're still in the Maschine. What I want to do now is switch over by holding shift and hitting MIDI up here. Depending on what controller you're in, the buttons will be different. I'm on an MK3, so in this case I hit shift and MIDI. Okay, so whatever controller you are, find the MIDI channel wherever it's at, the MIDI button, and hold shift to activate it. Now I am in controller mode. In controller mode, these will become my octaves. So this will be C1, C2, C3, C4, and then C0 and C minus 1. Okay. And these will be play, stop, and record. So if I hit play, you guys will notice that the click track is playing. And let me close this Maschine so you guys can see that it is now playing the Maschine. Okay. One thing, let me move it. This is probably going to get in our way, so I'm just going to move the machine and lower it a little bit, the actual, so you guys can see it different. Cool, so you guys can see that from the controller, if I hit play here now, it'll start. If I hit record, it will go into record mode. If I hit restart, it'll do that. And if I hit follow, it will loop it. This template, as I said, I've made it. It's downloadable for free. All you guys have to do is sign up to my email list and please share, 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 share. Okay. So once that's done, that's pretty much all we have to do. Now, remember the first group that we use in Maschine was the 909 kit. So if I record engage that track, as you guys can see, we'll be hearing the 909. If I go to the second track, I think it's playing a different drum kit. I think this might have been Project Haze or something. Okay, and then the third one, I think was Paradise something or another. So the sounds are different throughout. That pack doesn't seem to have a lot of sounds in it, that one I selected there. Let me see something. I was out of, by the way, I was out of octave. That's why when I went here, I couldn't hear those. So remember, you have to be in the octave that is in the machine, set up in the machine, and I'll show you guys that again. Okay. Here you guys can see that this group is set up to MIDI channel 3, and the start note of that, which is this note, is C1. Okay. I'll go back to that. So if I were here, I'm in C2, so I'm out of octave. I won't hear them. Make sure you're on the right octave. I'm going to go to the first track, the 909 track. Okay, I'm going to make sure that my loop is on. You guys can see that I've set it up for that and it's on. I'm going to turn on the metronome here. And I'm going to hit play. Okay, now I'm just going to record that kick. In this setup, I've also set up keys for Quantize. If you guys hit the notes on this template, it will select every region on that track. And if I hit the pitch key here, it would quantize it and put my notes in time to 16ths. I'm missing that first kick, so I'm going to add it. And you guys can see that I put it in time. Let's find a clap here. Let's grab that too and quantize that. Let's find some hi-hats. Let's quantize that as well. Cool. Now let's go to a different kit on another track by hitting the down arrow here. Now I'm on a different kit. I was in record, so I'm gonna undo that. Get out of record, now I can play around. It as well. We got a couple of doubles in there. Let's go to a different track. Let's lower that, right? So we can quickly shift over and go into the mixer. mixer. And let's see if we can adjust some sounds here. We'll leave that one like that. Let's go ahead and record. Let's stop that. So essentially, you're able to record anything that you do on the controller when you are in MIDI mode into Logic. So you're not forced to have to sequence your parts in the Maschine plugin. These are templates that I've made. You can use the basic templates that came with Maschine and the controller editor by using the Mackie control version of it. However, if you're using it again in your setup here on the control surfaces and setup, you will find that if you add it here and you do not change your input to any, it will conflict with this other setup. And that's in general, because I saw that in the Native Instruments posted one where they did show how to do it, and a lot of people started commenting on it that it didn't work, and they quickly turned off the comments on that video, which is odd. But in any case, this is how you're able to do it. If you guys want to download the template, it's on this video beneath it. Go to my website, Planet1wp.com. and you guys will be able to sign up to my email list and download the templates and controller assignments for free. By the way, they are for Mac, and the controller assignments are for the MK3 version. As I said, I'm new to this. This is my second episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, by all means, write in the comments section. Please share the video and subscribe. Just going to do a quick recap of what I did, and then I'm going to leave for the night. So basically, today's topic was how to use the Maschine MK controller in Logic as a keyboard or a drum pad to program your MIDI in Logic, not program it inside the Maschine software. The way that I went about doing that was I started here. I'll show you guys, do a quick recap again. I essentially created a new track with a software instrument, Maschine, and I created a multi-timbre one, which gave me 4 MIDI channels. You can go up to 16 of them. And once I did that, a new machine opened up. Okay, and in that machine here, since I've already I created 3 groups. Okay, I didn't use the 4 that I created. I simply used 3. Once I set up sounds in these groups, I right click on the group and I go MIDI bash setup, sounds to MIDI notes on all 3 groups. Once that is done, then I make sure I'm on the group tab, which can be done from the controller, by the way. Okay. The first part, the part where you have to assign them sounds to MIDI notes, cannot be done from the controller. The second part, however, could be done. I'm on group. I would go to channel. Then I would go into the input tab and change my routing to manual and assign the first group to MIDI channel 1. The second group would have been assigned to MIDI channel 2. The third to MIDI channel 3. Once that is done, you're all set. Make sure your volume, master volume, is not too loud inside the plugin because you want to protect your ears. And then I simply selected, change this, and put it in MIDI mode, depending on whatever controller you have. Just find MIDI and hold Shift to activate it. Now I'm in MIDI mode. I'm able to play. Okay. I'm able to record. I'm able to engage my cycle. I'm able to select the regions on that track and quantize them. these become my octaves. Okay, this is restart, and the erase button is my delete undo button, my metronome button. Now I want to show you guys one more thing actually. Actually, I forgot what I was going to show you guys. So basically that's it. So if you guys, like I said, a lot of these stuff I modified myself. If you guys want the template and the how-to, by all means, sign up to my email list and get it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the topic of the day, how to use the machine controller as a keyboard to program in Logic as opposed to programming it inside the instance. My name is Josie Carr. Again, thank you for coming to Planet1wp. Create, and repeat. Ciao.